His tiny body, palms cupped gently around Andre's soft middle, as if holding a living whisper. Andre blinked up at him wide, curious, impossibly innocent, then released a small coo that sent the entire room into a quiet explosion of tenderness. Kate felt Liam lean back against her, his small frame relaxing, trusting. For a moment, the world narrowed to the warmth of two children and one fragile miracle between them. Graham hovered close, camera raised, but even he didn't dare make too much noise. The scene was too perfect, too delicate. "Hold him just like that," Kate whispered, her breath brushing Liam's ear. "You're doing great." Liam's chin lifted with pride. The smile that spread across his face was huge, free, the kind that etched itself into memory forever. Snap. The camera captured it, the boy, the baby, the soft dawnlight sliding through the curtains, painting everything gold. Another coo. Another ripple of laughter. Then Andre stretched one tiny arm upward, fingers curling in the air, like he was reaching for Liam alone. "Oh!" Liam gasped, nearly trembling with joy. "He touched me." Kate steadied Andre again, chuckling. "He likes you. Babies can feel kind people." Liam went still, the words sinking deep into him as though they were being engraved. "I'm kind?" he asked quietly, cautiously, as if this truth had never been offered to him before. Kate felt her heart twist. She kissed the back of his head. "You are one of the kindest souls I've ever known." Graham nodded firmly. "She's not lying." The other kids chimed in with exaggerated nods, laughter, affirmations. Even Andre gurgled as if adding his agreement. Liam looked down at the baby again, and something shifted in him, something older than his years, something protective and gentle and brave. "Hi, Andre," he whispered softly. "I'm your big cousin. I'll always take care of you." Andre blinked slowly, then responded with a soft, airy sound that made the girls squeal. "He said yes," one of them announced. "He totally said yes." More laughter, more photos, more gentle rearranging of hands and limbs as the moment stretched into something warm and pure. Then Graham took his turn, sitting awkwardly on Kate's lap because he insisted that if Liam got his photo like that, he needed one too. The girls lined up next, overflowing with energy, each clutching the baby with a mix of excitement and reverence. It took nearly half an hour for everyone to get their moment with Andre. Through it all, Kate held her son close when she wasn't handing him over, always ready to steady a slipping arm or guide tiny hands. She felt like a shield. Like a harbor. Like the quiet heartbeat of something sacred. And she didn't realize how much the others saw it too. The excitement eventually dissolved into calmer chatter. The kids sprawled on the carpet, talking among themselves, looking at their photos and laughing over who looked sillier holding Andre. In the kitchen, Caleb watched them with a quiet smile tugging at his mouth. He leaned against the counter, arms folded loosely, pure affection softening every edge of him. Beside him, Victoria stirred the pot on the stove, glancing back every now and then. "He's glowing," she whispered, nudging her chin toward Caleb. Kate glanced behind her. He was. She hadn't seen him that radiant in months, not since before the sleepless nights, the fear-filled mornings, the trembling anticipation that came with raising a baby born too early, too fragile, too precious. Now he looked like a man who'd stepped into a room full of sunlight he didn't know he was missing. Kate crossed to him, Andre sleeping against her chest, and Caleb's eyes lit up even brighter. "You handled that like a pro," he murmured, brushing a thumb across her wrist. "I was terrified," she admitted. "I know." His fingers found hers. "You still did it beautifully." Kate read the truth in his eyes, the gratitude, the awe, the love he didn't need to say out loud because it breathed from him. They stood there for a moment, wrapped in the scent of simmering herbs and roasted spices, wrapped in the sound of children's laughter drifting through the house, wrapped in each other. Then a sudden shriek of laughter erupted from the living room. "Liam! You can't put the baby photo as your phone wallpaper before US. Watch me." "No." Caleb chuckled. "Chaos." Kate shook her head. "Our normal. Looks good on us," he murmured. She leaned her head against his shoulder, exhaling softly. "Yes. It does." Dinner came together like a celebration. Plates filled the table: roasted vegetables, herb chicken, baked potatoes, warm bread, dishes steaming and fragrant. The kids rushed in like a tiny stampede and took their places. Andre stayed in Kate's arms, asleep but stirring every few minutes. "Someone likes to be in the middle of everything," Victoria teased. "Just like his father," Graham added with a smirk, making the adults laugh. Caleb pretended to look offended. "I beg your pardon, I am a picture of calm and maturity." "Sure," the girls said in perfect unison. Even Kate laughed. It felt so good to laugh. The evening settled into a rhythm of conversation, clattering forks, occasional baby sounds, and warmth. So much warmth. Halfway through the meal, Liam reached over and gently touched the blanket wrapped around Andre. "He's so small," he whispered, more to himself than anyone else. Kate's heart softened. "Yes," she said. "But he's strong. Stronger than we ever expected." Liam nodded, eyes thoughtful. "Can I?" He paused. "Can I help sometimes? Like, help take care of him?" Kate blinked. Caleb turned his head slowly. The table fell quiet. "You want to help with the baby?" Kate asked softly. Liam swallowed, gaze still on Andre. "I know I'm not big or anything, but I'm careful. I promise. I can do small things. Like bring diapers or sing to him or I dunno, just be here." There was no performance in his voice, no craving for attention. Just sincerity, pure, overflowing sincerity. It made something inside Kate melt gently, like a candle softening in warm light. "I think Andre would love that," she replied gently. Caleb nodded. "We would too." The smile that bloomed across Liam's face was something Kate would remember for the rest of her life. Dinner resumed with even more warmth after that. As the plates emptied, conversation shifted into stories and teasing in gentle chaos. The kids helped clear the table, some more effectively than others. One plate nearly fell, but Graham caught it just in time, earning cheers. Kate carried Andre upstairs to the nursery, humming softly as his tiny fingers twitched in sleep. The room was warm and dim, the crib waiting patiently. She laid him down with careful hands. His eyelids fluttered. His tiny mouth curled. He sighed, a soft, perfect little sound. Kate brushed a hand over his hair, whispering, "You are loved. So loved." Downstairs, the laughter had faded into softer tones. When Kate returned, she found the house calmer, quieter. The kids were curled up on the couch with blankets, watching an old animated movie. Victoria sat with them, her arm around her daughter. Caleb stood at the window, looking out at the evening sky, violet fading into blue, the first stars waking slowly. Kate slipped beside him. "What are you thinking?" she asked. He didn't look at her at first. Just lifted his hand, one finger tracing a star through the glass. "Just wondering," he murmured. "How did we get here?" She waited. Caleb continued, voice low but steady. "After everything that happened. After all the nights in the NICU. After all the fear. The exhaustion. The prayers," his throat tightened. "Now we're home. With him. With family. With peace." Kate threaded her fingers through his. "I know," she whispered. "It doesn't feel real," he said. "Sometimes I'm scared I'll wake up and we'll still be fighting to get him strong enough to breathe on his own." She squeezed his hand. "You're not dreaming." He looked at her then, eyes wet but steady. "No," he whispered. "I'm not." Kate pressed closer. "Today was a good day. One of our best," he said. Silence flowed between them, gentle, comforting. Then footsteps padded down the stairs. Liam appeared, clutching a blanket around his shoulders, eyes still bright. Aunt Kate? Uncle Caleb?" They turned toward him together. "Can I see Andre before I go to bed?" Kate smiled warmly. "Of course." Liam nodded and hurried up the stairs, a soft excitement in his steps. Caleb exhaled softly. He's really attached already. Yes, Kate said quietly. He is. And you know what? Caleb murmured. I think Andre needed someone like him. Kate looked up, curious. What do you mean? Caleb's eyes followed Liam's trail up the stairs. Someone gentle, he said. Someone who understands what it means to feel small, and still try to be brave. Kate's breath caught. There was truth in his words, deep, resonant truth. I think they're going to be good for each other, she whispered. Yeah, Caleb said softly. Me too. Upstairs, Liam stood over the crib. He didn't touch Andre, just looked at him with a kind of wonder that slowed everything. Andre stirred in sleep, as though sensing him. Liam whispered. Good night, buddy. I'll be here tomorrow. Then something even softer. You're my friend already. He tiptoed out, closing the door soundlessly. Kate and Caleb met him halfway down the stairs, and Liam smiled shyly before hurrying back into the warm blanket pile on the couch. Kate leaned into Caleb again. He's a special kid, Caleb murmured. Yes, she replied. He really is. The house settled into quiet again, filled with the peaceful hum of night. And in the nursery, Andre slept. Surrounded by warmth. Protected by the gentle weight of promises. And carrying, in his tiny chest, the first breaths of a beautiful beginning. The house exhaled the warmth of the day long after the laughter faded, leaving behind a hum, the kind that settles only when love has filled every corner. Outside, the evening deepened into blue velvet, and the last of the children had been tucked into guest rooms, where soft blankets and gentle stories pushed them into sleep. Upstairs, Andre slept in his crib, chest rising with the fragile rhythm of new life. Kate checked on him twice, no, 3 times, after putting him down. She couldn't help it. Every tiny breath felt like a miracle she had to witness, as though the universe might decide to change its mind if she looked away. When she returned to the hallway the 3rd time, she found Caleb waiting for her at the end of the corridor, leaning against the wall with his hands in his pockets. The dim light cast soft shadows across his face, highlighting the small smile he reserved only for her. He's breathing just fine, Caleb whispered. I know. She slipped into his arms anyway. He held her close, his heartbeat steady against her cheek. For a moment, neither of them moved. They simply breathed together, the way they once did before worry had become their shadow. Come downstairs, he murmured. I made something. What did you make? You'll see. Caleb led her to the living room, where a warm, flickering glow spilled across the floor. He had lit 2 small candles on the coffee table. A mug of warm milk waited for her, the faint swirl of cinnamon rising like a soft promise. Kate stopped, her heart loosening. You remembered. I remember everything, he said. She sat, wrapping her hands around the warm mug. Caleb joined her on the couch, pulling a blanket over their legs. The house felt impossibly quiet, as though it were listening to them breathe. I forgot what peace felt like, Kate whispered. Caleb turned his head. This isn't peace. She glanced at him. This, he clarified gently, is the quiet after the storm. Peace is what comes next. Kate took a sip of the warm milk, letting the sweetness roll over her tongue. The warmth spread through her chest, dissolving the last of the day's tension. What does peace look like? She asked softly. Caleb traced a finger along her wrist. Something we build. Something small. Something slow. Something ours. Her breath trembled, not with fear, but with something softer. Something like hope. So, this is the beginning, she murmured. Caleb nodded. The beginning of the rest of our lives. The room seemed to lean into the moment, walls softening, shadows settling, the air itself holding them gently. Kate felt her heart easing open like a blossom in warm light. I'm glad the kids came, she whispered. Me too, Caleb said. Liam especially. Kate smiled. He's special. He is. Caleb leaned back, eyes distant. He reminds me of myself at that age. Really? Yes, Caleb murmured. Quiet. Waiting for someone to see me. Kate rested her head on his shoulder. You were seen. Eventually, he said. But he's being seen now. That matters. They sat with those words a moment, the kind that linger long after they're spoken. After a while, Kate whispered, Do you think Andre will remember today? No, Caleb said. But he'll feel it. Babies always feel love long before they understand it. Kate nodded, her eyes softening. I hope he grows up surrounded by people like them. He will, Caleb promised. We're going to make sure of it. Upstairs, footsteps tapped lightly across the hallway floor, swift, small, cautious. Kate lifted her head. Is that one of the kids? Caleb listened. Probably. A moment later, Graham appeared at the top of the stairs, rubbing one eye with his fist. His hair was sticking up in every possible direction, a sleepy mess of soft curls. Aunt Kate, he called softly. She stood immediately. What is it, sweetheart? He came down slowly, blanket trailing behind him like a cape pulled through clouds. I had a dream. Kate knelt. A bad one? He shook his head. Not bad. Just loud. Caleb hid a smile. A loud dream? Yeah. Graham nodded seriously. There were fireworks. Inside the house. And everyone was laughing and the baby was dancing. He pointed straight at Kate. And you were singing. Loud. Caleb snorted. That does sound loud. Kate gave him a soft glare, then turned to Graham again. Do you want to sit with us for a bit? Yes, he said immediately. He climbed onto the couch between them, leaning against Kate with the trust only a child could give without hesitation. Are you cold? She asked. A little. Caleb pulled the blanket up around him, tucking it under his chin. Graham snuggled deeper into the warmth. The moment stretched, soft, slow, perfect. Kate stroked his hair gently, her voice low. Do you want to tell me the rest of the dream? Graham shook his head. It wasn't really a dream. He paused. It felt like a wish. Kate's heart tightened in her chest. A wish? He nodded again, eyes growing heavy. A wish that we could all live together. Forever. Caleb's breath caught. Kate pressed her cheek gently to the top of Graham's head. That's a beautiful wish, she whispered. That's because I meant it, Graham said sleepily. Uncle Caleb laughed a lot today. Mama said he doesn't always laugh. I think Andre makes him happy. I think you make him happy too. Kate swallowed. Caleb looked away, jaw tight, emotion lurking beneath the surface. Kids always see the truth. Always. Graham yawned. Can I sleep here? You can sleep until you drift off, Kate said softly. Then we'll take you to bed. Okay, his voice faded into the blankets. Within minutes, he was asleep. Kate looked at him, then at Caleb. He feels safe here. That's a responsibility, Caleb murmured. It's a blessing, Kate whispered. Caleb studied her, really studied her, as though trying to understand the way her heart worked. Something softened in him, something almost reverent. You were born for this, he said quietly. For being home. Her breath trembled. Not many people knew how to speak to her heart. Caleb did, always had. She touched his hand. So were you. His fingers curled around hers. They didn't say anything else. They didn't need to. The silence between them was full of promise, full of warmth, full of everything unspoken. An hour later, after Graham was carried upstairs and tucked in, Caleb and Kate checked on Andre once more. He slept without stirring, wrapped in moonlight and quiet breaths. When they returned to the hallway, Caleb leaned against the doorframe, watching Kate with a look she rarely saw, soft, deep, steady. You're tired, he said. You're exhausted, she countered. He smirked softly. We make a fine mess. We do, Kate agreed.
But a good one. A pause. Then Caleb reached for her hand. Come with me. She followed him back downstairs, across the living room, into the kitchen. He opened the back door quietly, letting in a whisper of cool night air. The backyard stretched out dark, gentle, vast. A few lanterns hung from the patio beams, glowing softly like captured stars. Caleb stepped out and held the door for her. Kate hesitated. What if the kids wake up? We'll hear them. She stepped outside. The night wrapped around them like a velvet cloak. Crickets sang in the grass. Far above, the moon spilled silver light across the patio. Caleb sat on the bench swing and patted the seat beside him. Kate joined him, curling her legs beneath her. The swing rocked gently, slow enough to soothe. Remember the last time we sat outside like this? Caleb asked. Kate did. Months ago. Before Andre. Before everything fell apart and came back together. You were scared, Caleb murmured. I was too. Kate nodded. We didn't know if he would survive. But he did, Caleb whispered. He fought. And we fought with him, she said. Caleb's jaw tightened. I didn't always feel strong. But you were. He shook his head, looking down at his hands. That NICU room broke me. Kate touched his cheek, lifting his face gently. It broke both of us, she said. But it didn't end us. Caleb's breath shuddered. I thought I'd lose you, he whispered. You didn't. He closed his eyes, leaning into her touch. No, he said. I didn't. And I'm never letting anything take you away again. Kate felt those words settle into her bones. The swing creaked softly as Caleb pulled her closer. Kate, he said, voice low, steady, full of the truth he could never hide from her. You saved me. She didn't speak. She only placed her hand over his heart, feeling the steady pulse beneath her palm. For a long moment, they sat like that, two silhouettes under the moon, holding on to what mattered most. When they finally went inside, the house felt different, warmer, brighter, alive with something fragile but powerful. Hope. Kate checked on Andre one more time before bed. Caleb stood beside her, watching their son together. He looks peaceful, Caleb whispered. He is, Kate said. Caleb's hand found her back. I want more days like today. We'll have them, she promised. He nodded, as though letting the truth sink in. Together, they left the nursery, leaving the door slightly ajar. In the bedroom, Kate slipped beneath the blankets, and Caleb climbed in beside her. He wrapped an arm around her waist, his breath warm against her hair. Kate closed her eyes, letting the weight of the day melt away. You know what I realized today? Caleb murmured. What? That happiness doesn't arrive all at once. He pressed a soft kiss to her temple. It shows up in small pieces. In moments. In breaths. Kate smiled softly. And today, he whispered, was one of those days. Sometime after midnight, the house slept deeply. The children dreamed in warm beds. Andre breathed softly in his crib. Kate and Caleb slept wrapped around each other, the rise and fall of their breaths perfectly in sync. And in the quiet. In the stillness. In the soft hum of a home finally at peace. The next chapter of their lives waited. Just beyond the edge of dawn. Morning came softly, sliding its golden fingers across the curtains until the room glowed with quiet warmth. Kate stirred first. Her breath steadied. Her eyes fluttered open. For a moment, she lay still, letting her senses catch up with her heart. Caleb's arm remained draped around her waist, heavy with sleep, his breath brushing her shoulder in slow, steady waves. His presence was warm, grounding, and deeply familiar, the kind of comfort she never took for granted. The world outside whispered with early birds, with the rustle of trees waking, with the calm that only dawn could offer. For the first time in months, Kate felt she had slept without the weight of fear pressing against her ribcage. She shifted slightly. Caleb's hold tightened instinctively. Don't move, he murmured, voice thick with sleep. Kate smiled into the pillow. I have to check on Andre. He breathed out slowly, reluctantly, then loosened his arm. Okay. But come back. I will. Kate slipped out of bed and tied her robe loosely around herself. Caleb watched her through half-lidded eyes, a small smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. She left the bedroom quietly and crossed the hall toward the nursery. Her heart fluttered with that same blend of awe and protectiveness it always carried. Upon entering the room, she froze. Not in fear. In wonder. Little Liam was sitting on the carpet beside Andre's crib. Still in his pajamas. Barefoot. Sleepy-eyed. Holding a little toy car like a treasure. His head turned the moment she stepped inside. Aunt Kate, he whispered, voice soft, as though the room itself was sacred. He woke up a little. I heard him. So I came. Kate approached slowly, the tenderness in her chest blooming wide. You did? She asked. Liam nodded. I didn't touch him. I just sat here. I didn't want him to feel alone. Kate swallowed. Her heart ached in the most beautiful way. You did a good thing, she whispered. Liam's shoulders eased with visible relief. She leaned over the crib and saw Andre blinking awake, soft, slow, peaceful. His arms moved lazily in tiny circles. Kate lifted him with careful hands, feeling his warmth settle against her. Liam's entire face lit up. He's happy today, Liam whispered. So are you, Kate said gently. He blushed. Kate carried Andre to the rocking chair and sat. Liam stood beside her, smiling shyly as the baby cooed softly in Kate's arms. Can I stay? He asked. Of course. Liam sat cross-legged on the carpet, watching the baby as though witnessing a sunrise. Kate rocked slowly, gently, her voice a soft hum filling the room. The moment carried a quiet magic, one that felt almost too delicate to breathe in too deeply. Then Caleb's footsteps sounded in the hall. He appeared at the doorway, hair tousled, wearing an old t-shirt, eyes lingering somewhere between exhaustion and affection. He took in the scene, Kate rocking with Andre, Liam sitting at her feet, and something warm flickered across his face. Morning, he whispered. Liam waved a little. Andre cooed again as if greeting his father. Caleb stepped in quietly, kneeling beside the chair, brushing a fingertip across Andre's cheek. Good morning, little warrior. Kate smiled at the name. Caleb had started calling him that in the NICU. The nurses had picked it up. The parents in nearby rooms. Even the doctors. Andre. The warrior who lived. The baby who defied the odds. He slept well, Kate murmured. So did you, Caleb said softly. Liam looked between them, his expression curious, almost studying them, as if learning what safety looked like in real time. After a moment, he whispered. I think he knows you're his parents. Kate's breath caught. Caleb's eyes softened. And I think he knows you're special, too, Caleb replied. Liam's cheeks pinkened. He looked away, clutching his toy car. Downstairs, the morning unfolded with the gentle familiarity of family. Victoria had woken early. She hummed softly as she cooked, filling the kitchen with the comforting aroma of warm bread and scrambled eggs. Sunlight streamed through the windows, dancing across the countertops. When the children trickled in one by one, still wrapped in sleepiness, hair wild, feet dragging, the kitchen table came alive. Good morning, Kate greeted, carrying Andre in her arms. The chorus of good morning from the children washed over her like warm light. Graham ran over first. Can I see him? In a minute, Kate said gently. Let's settle first. Caleb took Andre from her so she could help serve breakfast. The baby curled against his chest as though born to fit there. Victoria smiled. He knows his father. Of course he does, Caleb said. He's brilliant. Kate laughed softly at the confidence in his voice. The kids gathered around the table, eating with the chaotic enthusiasm of hungry children. Conversations overlapped. Laughter bounced off the walls. Someone spilled juice and someone else tried to hide it. It was a beautiful mess. And in the middle of it all, Caleb held Andre, rocking him slightly, humming under his breath, his eyes never straying far from Kate. After breakfast, the group migrated to the living room. The kids sprawled across the carpet. Graham and the girls built towers with blocks. Liam sat with his back against the couch, watching Andre intently. Caleb stretched out on the couch and placed Andre on his chest while Kate curled beside him. Andre's hands stretched and curled, reaching for the fabric of Caleb's shirt, grabbing it with surprising strength. Caleb chuckled. He's training to be a bodybuilder. Kate nudged his shoulder. He's 5 months old. And ambitious, Caleb said solemnly. Kate rolled her eyes and leaned her head on his shoulder. She felt Caleb's arm slide behind her, pulling her closer until their bodies fit neatly together, the warmth between them settling into something steady, soft, unspoken. For a long moment, the house was quiet. The kind of quiet full of life, the soft breathing of a baby, the whisper of pages turning as one of the girls read, the distant clatter of toys. Caleb closed his eyes. Kate watched him. This man, who had broken quietly under the weight of fear, who had prayed silently during long nights in sterile hospital rooms, who had held their son's hand through incubator walls, who had learned strength the hard way, looked peaceful now. Truly peaceful. She touched his arm softly. His eyes opened slowly. I like mornings like this, he murmured. Me too, she whispered. He tilted his head slightly, studying her. Do you ever think about the future? Kate felt the question settle like a slow breath. Yes, she said softly. Every day. What do you see? He asked. She looked down at Andre, sleeping quietly on his father's chest. Then at the kids playing around them. Then at the home they had built piece by fragile piece. I see this, she whispered. I see a life. A family. A place where we don't have to be afraid anymore. Caleb's throat moved as he swallowed. And me, he whispered. Kate turned her eyes to him. Her voice came out barely above a breath. You're the center of it. Caleb closed his eyes as if the words hit someplace deep. When he looked at her again, something luminous lived inside his gaze. I love you, he murmured. Kate felt a shiver, soft, warm, inevitable. And I love you, she whispered back. The moment stretched, tender and deep, until a small voice broke the silence. Uncle Caleb, can the baby try to sit? Graham stood there, holding a small cushion, eyes wide with anticipation. Caleb straightened, chuckling. He can try. The next few minutes became a whirlwind of laughter. Caleb held Andre upright as the baby wobbled like a tiny, determined penguin. The kids cheered. Andre's arms flailed. His face scrunched. His mouth opened in a squeal that melted every heart in the room. He's doing it. Graham shouted. He's so strong, the girls cried. He's the best baby ever, Liam whispered. Andre toppled into Caleb's chest, giggling. Kate covered her mouth, tears forming, not of sadness, but of something far too beautiful to contain. Caleb looked at her. His own eyes glistened. Without words, they both knew. This was more than a moment. This was a beginning. Afternoon sunlight spilled warmly through the windows as the day unfolded. The children played outside, their laughter drifting through the open patio door. Victoria helped Kate prepare lunch, humming gently. Caleb held Andre by the window, showing him the trees swaying in the breeze. This, he whispered to the baby. Is the world waiting for you? Andre blinked at the sunlight. Then smiled. Caleb froze. Then his heart broke wide open. Kate, he called, voice shaking. She rushed over. What? He smiled, Caleb whispered, breath trembling. At the trees. At the sunlight. At life. Kate's hand flew to her mouth. Andre smiled again, slow, soft, pure sunlight. Caleb pulled Kate close with his free arm. Together, they stood there. watching their son welcome the world for the first time.
Evening arrived gently, wrapping the house in golden shadow.
Dinner was warm and joyful. The kids were louder. The adults softer. The air full of peace.
After everyone ate, after the children settled again for quiet time, Caleb stepped outside to the patio. Kate followed a moment later, carrying Andre. Caleb turned, and when he saw them, his breath caught.
Kate in the glow of sunset. Andre cradled in her arms. A picture of everything he had ever hoped for.
She joined him on the bench swing, and they sat close, their shoulders touching. Andre stirred, opening his eyes.
Kate kissed his forehead.
Caleb whispered, "Days like today, they heal things we didn't even know were broken."
Kate leaned her head against his. "Yes. They do."
He wrapped an arm gently around her and their son. And as the sun slipped behind the horizon, soft, gold, gentle, their world settled into a quiet, breathtaking peace.
For the first time, Kate realized something powerful.
This wasn't just their life returning.
This was their life beginning. Again. Stronger. Brighter. Together.